All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Trading Bitcoin with your host, Tone Vays. We're going straight to the charts today. I am going to do my absolute best to stay away from politics because I need to start my channel on Rumble for only politics ASAP and keep this channel only to Bitcoin because, man, people have very fiery opinions. Let's do it. Here are the charts. So we've rallied off the moving average once again, and we're back close to inside the triangle. I am not altering this triangle until we finish this month. I believe there's only 10 days left. Today's already the 20th. We got 10 days to go. The time is flying so fast. It is absolutely insane. Not much to say on the monthly chart. Here's the weekly chart. The weekly chart is still sitting under both moving averages. The low moving average is rising, but that won't last if we keep going down. That one's the first one to turn. The intermediate term moving average is about to start rising if we go up, but this is still a very weak looking chart. A lot more needs to happen in this chart for it to be bullish, which is why we're not going to spend much time on a weekly chart either. When I looked at the price of Bitcoin, literally like an hour and a half ago, we were sitting above $42,000. And I'm like, wow, Bitcoin is seriously rallying here. When do I need to add a bigger bullish position or a bullish position? Because right now we're sitting in a 100% cash position. And I was eyeing this area. And what I was going to say, had I done this video this morning, well, earlier in the morning, right now it is 11:30 a.m. New York time. I'm always on New York time, no matter where I am. And if I did this video, say 2.5 hours ago, would have been talking about the incredible rally in Bitcoin and when to take on a bullish position. I no longer need to say that right now based on what happened in the last few hours. And I don't know if anything has caused that or not, but this is where we are. So the Consensio allocation chart is literally, hey, Perito, I'm going to Brazil. My next destination is Brazil. I will be in Brazil in about a week. A little over a week from now, I will be in Brazil. I'm not exactly sure where in Brazil. I'm definitely going to be in Sao Paulo. There's an event in Sao Paulo. I should probably start mentioning which events I'm going to. Anyway, just I'll watch tomorrow's video or the day after for my information on Brazil. But I am going to Brazil, 100%. Got to buy my ticket, but I'm going 100%. Okay, so here we are. We're sitting above the low-term moving average. These moving averages are all over the place. I don't want to mess with Bitcoin when these moving averages are all over the place. We really need to wait for Bitcoin to get above all of these moving averages. And if it stays down here a few more candles, it'll be, the moving averages will be at a lower price, so it'll be easier to get above them. But until it does, I'm not messing with any allocations. Just going to sit and wait unless it crashes. If it crashes, then we can, take on a bullish position off the crash. But I'm not risking a bearish position right now. Oh, I'm going to be talking a lot more about the financial summits. It's 3 months away, and we're hoping amazing people will join us at the financial. You can see a little video here. We're going to have much longer videos of what happened in the last one over in Dubai. And people are signing up, so go ahead and join us at this incredible event. My stuff is the on-demand videos and the MRI indicator. So you can check those out as well. Okay, here is a very interesting situation. So not yesterday, sorry, I didn't do a video yesterday. I was busy at a conference. It was a financial conference where all the speakers were in the Bitcoin and DeFi world, educating the financial people on DeFi and crypto. And I now understand why so many people in the traditional financial space get involved in outright scams based on attending that event, because all the speakers wanted to talk about was yield farming and DeFi and Web3, and the word Bitcoin was barely ever mentioned. And they were speaking to traditional finance, hedge funds, managers, investors. They're doing a good job selling them a bunch of, well, crap, to be honest with you. And it's a very unfortunate situation. And I will be, speaking to the conference organizers as to why most of their speakers were promoting dreams that can make some good returns in the short run with disastrous outcomes in the long run. Anyway, enough of that. But now I understand why people invest in this nonsense and believe in this nonsense completely. So attending that event was frustrating, but important. So what did I say on my last video? On the last video, we were sitting in this purple area when I did the video. And I said that if we close in the purple area, we have absolutely no information for the next day. If we close below the red line, and the purple area, by the way, for those that are visually impaired watching this video, and I know at least one person that is, the purple area is between 39,500 and 39,000. So had we closed between 39,000 and 39.5, we would have had zero information on where price is likely to go, zero. Had we closed at the bottom of the candle below 39,000, I would have been insanely bearish for the following day. I'm just repeating what I said in my last video. Now, we needed to rally on Monday all the way above 40,500 in order to be bullish for the following day or several days. And that's exactly what we did. We rallied above that. Did I expect us to rally above 40,500? No, of course not. I did not expect a rally that high. And this is one of the big things that people don't understand about trading. I do not know where the price is going to go. And most of the time, you are clueless as to where it's going to go. But when it does something that you say, this is what I said, if it closes below 39, I'm very bearish for Tuesday. If it closes below 39 and 39.5, I have zero information. If it closes above 39.5, but below 40.5, I am hopeful into Tuesday and Wednesday. But if we magically rally above $40,500, I am very bullish for Tuesday and Wednesday into the moving averages. And that's exactly what happened. We magically rallied above $40,500 on Monday. So that means my Tuesday and Wednesday would have been very, very bullish outcomes. Now, it's crazy how we just dropped in the last hour and a half. But prior to that, it was looking very bullish. I don't know why it dropped, but certainly the moving averages had something to do with it. And it hit some resistance and we dropped a little bit. But I still see this as a bullish scenario. And let's see if we can break above these daily moving averages. Yeah, I usually stream every day unless it's Sunday and I just want a day off and I remember that it's Sunday. And also unless I'm busy with a conference all day or just not near a good internet connection. I try to stream every day. So yeah, so we just fell. Maybe we fell, yeah, because this hour this hour is ending. Yeah, we started falling at 9 a.m. Eastern time, which is the last time I looked at the price before this video. So I was expecting to be very bullish, but hey, we started to drop. So not much to say on the hourly chart. This is it. This is my Bitcoin analysis, guys. I'm not covering politics. Oh, wow. Look at the premium. I love it. I love this premium. Guys, this is super important. You see how much the premium just jumped in the last 2 days? I know it may not look like much, but look at it relative to other jumps. This was not a huge Bitcoin move in the last 2 days. Right? But look at the premium. Look at the premium of Bitcoin go up, break out, and go up. That is a 13% rise in the premium. That's a 3% nominal and a 12% rise. It's so we shaved off 3%. So Bitcoin gained 3% in premium. So whatever the price of Bitcoin what is now, it's 3%. You gain 3% on the premium, which amounts to a 13% rise in premium itself. And this is what I've been saying for a long time. The moment Bitcoin starts rising, if we get these 3, 4, 5 days of Bitcoin price rise in a row, the GBTC premium can seriously trend back to zero. It will not take much because there's not that many GBTC shares up for sale. You can see how even the slope of this line is kind of higher now, right? I don't want to like break this line, but look, this is the average slope of that line. And look how quickly we went up. I would love for us to go back to this line, but then jump again. This is super important. This means that by the time Bitcoin makes it back to the, if this continues, it's very, very likely that by the time Bitcoin comes back to par, by the time it comes back to par, and by par, I mean GBTC premium 0, and the price of Bitcoin is back to the vicinity of the prior all-time high. GBTC premium is going to be at 0 by the time it comes back to the prior highs of $60,000 per Bitcoin. And we all know that once Bitcoin gets back to $65,000, hopefully later this year, it's going to break out with a vengeance. It's going to go up to probably over 100,000. And when that happens, people are going to rush to buy GBTC. And there's not going to be any new GBTC shares created for people to sell extra GBTC shares. And this premium can swing 20% positive in the bullish direction once again, because everyone has forgotten GBTC. And this is why we have this ridiculous depreciation, right? So this arbitrage play of making an extra 10 to 20% has worked so well. And now GBTC is crushing people. It is hurting people by forcing them to lose an extra 20%. But it's going to reverse. Markets always reverse, okay? And I do believe that we will swing above 0. Are we going to go back to 40? Probably not. Are we going to go back to 20 positive? Possibly. It depends on how fast Bitcoin is moving to the upside. It's possible to hit 20 again, but I'm pretty confident we will go into a positive 10% on GBTC before arbitragers come back in and sell it down. Okay. Next, oil. I'm still overall bullish on oil, even though we are pulling back right now. Gold. We're pulling back also on gold. And this must have just happened, right? Because Bitcoin is also down. Did the stock market take like a turn for the worse this morning? No, stock market is up. Bitcoin is down. That is strange. I think Bitcoin is likely to reverse today. I don't think this is a crazy drop in Bitcoin. It can be, but the stock market is up, so Bitcoin could potentially be rising. But this is the line to keep an eye on in Bitcoin. The line is right here. And if we establish a new high, the line could be higher, but this is my line. Actually, no, wait, I'm sorry. The line's changing. This purple is no longer useful to us because we rallied above the green. So what does that mean? This means this red line of disaster is being raised to this area here. Because if the price of Bitcoin comes back down to the area of general overall support, or the floor, as I like to call it, there's a very high probability of a drop. See, Bitcoin needs to kind of keep rising. This purple line is also no longer, well, this purple channel is also no longer really useful. And the reason why this channel is no longer useful is because we broke out above it and made a higher high, and we just established a pretty clear higher low. So now we can draw this channel, trend line. The tone Vays rules on trend line. You want to touch as many candles as humanly possible without breaking any of their bodies. And that line is this. Look how many candles we're touching. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to call that 4 because it's so close. I'm not going to call that 5. That's 5, 6. I am going to call that 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm going to call that 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. That is 17 candles. That is a major trend line right there, raising the price of Bitcoin. It should really be in green because it's bullish. That's a sweet bullish trend line right there. And we don't want to break that trend line. That is a very well established trend line. And right now it's being squeezed between the trend line and the double moving averages. But I'm still leaning bullish here that we break these moving averages and rally to the next set of moving average, which is the 200-day. The problem is now is going to be a double top. And that's a bullish sign if we hit a double top. I don't need these arrows anymore. Clearly, we did not rally off the 50-period moving average. And I don't want to clutter my chart. But this upward sloping trend line is very useful for the time being. Okay, I'm curious, oil on a short-term look. 1 hour chart, when did we start to drop? Okay, we started to drop literally in the last hour. I don't know what geopolitical events took place in the last hour. Maybe the live chat can help me explain this monster drop in oil prices. Was there a news event? Was it something Russia, Ukraine? Was it something US? Was the new oil field discovered? I really don't know. Do you see a huge bear flag forming? I don't do flags. I only do bullish pennants or bearish pennants. It's a different type of a flag. Did you hear Gonzalo Lira got captured? I know he's missing. I've mentioned the fact that Gonzalo Lira is missing on my channel. Nobody can get in touch with him. I just retweeted Zuby Music's tweet, who did an interview with him that I still need to watch. He didn't show up for the Galloway show. Though Galloway is a self-proclaimed proud communist. So I don't know why Gonzalo Lira is doing a Galloway show, but Galloway does have a big audience, which is kind of scary, how big of an audience Galloway has, being a self-proclaimed communist. And that's just weird. Really weird. Yeah, so we don't want to think the worst, but it's honestly, I would give it an 80% chance that Gonzalo's been, we'll never see or hear from him again. Unfortunately, that seems like the most likely outcome. I hope we see and hear from him again, but it's unlikely. So I'm trying to watch all of his videos before they get removed. Because if he gave up his login, they would delete his videos. So I watched about 2 or 3 yesterday, 2, because they're long, like over an hour. I'm trying to watch them on 2x speed. Yeah, Mechanic, I know Galloway is kind of on the money with the issues, but he's still a self-proclaimed communist. Like, he's on the money with the problems, but I disagree with him on the solutions. This is the thing, right? Like there's 2 things to everything. There is identifying the problem and suggesting a solution. And while he identifies the problems very well, his solutions to those problems is communism, which is insane. Unfortunately, Zuby is a shitcoiner. but Zuby still does a lot of good. It's I have when it comes to, and look, oil is still dropping like a stone. If anyone could like explain this or the news event or something, because I don't want to be Googling on live air. So wait, what was I saying? So look, I am very, very lenient and very, very patient with people that become shitcoiners after a lot of good in the Bitcoin space. So for example, even Roger Ver, I remained friends with Roger. I tried debating Roger. I tried speaking to Roger privately for years. But not anymore though. Now I'm done. Like I did my best. And same thing with Kim.com. I tried my best to keep him away from getting scammed by Bcash, and I failed. And in the case of Zuby, I mean, he's a very busy guy. When he started promoting mines, I don't know what else he's promoting, but the first time I saw him enter the world of shitcoinery was the social network platform, probably like a Facebook competitor called Mines, and it has a scammy shitcoin. And I immediately reached out to him and I tried to explain to him that this is a scammy shitcoin you're involved in, and it's probably not gonna go well. But that's all I can do is just warn people. But Zuby has done and continues to do so much good that he'd have to, be like Richard Hart and like start Hex in order for me to cancel him. And he's nowhere near there. So I continue to support and promote Zuby's work, even though I'm not happy about the shitcoinery. Do I condone trading altcoins to accumulate more Bitcoin? Yes, that I have no problem with that. It's the promotion that I have a problem with. It's the promotion. When I used to trade stocks, I personally did not like to trade penny stocks. But if I was to trade penny stocks, I would just trade penny stocks. I would not be using my platform, my trading platform, to promote a scammy, let's say, Google competitor, because the value of the stock is 1 cent, and I can pump that 1 cent to 5 cents and profit 4x from a scammy penny stocks, telling my followers that this is the next Google. That is a very scammy practice. So there's nothing wrong with trading penny stocks of scammy companies to make more money, whether it's Bitcoin, gold, silver, chickens, it doesn't matter. Right? Like, I don't care if you trade horse manure to make more wealth for yourself. But when you go on social media and say how horse manure, you should buy it for your house, you can keep it as a collectible, it will freshen your house up and it will make everyone love you when they come in and smell it. That is basically what I'm against. And these are the shitcoiners, right? Like, you want to profit from horse manure, fine. Go and trade the value of horse manure, but don't promote it to people that just believe in everything you say because you have a following. So that's my view on trading altcoins. Do it, but stop, selling it as an investment. All right. So I don't know what happened in the last hour with oil, but again, I'm looking at the live chat to see if anyone wants to. Oh, I think someone says they think Biden released more strategic reserves or trade-off. No, the U.S. has very few strategic reserves, and they sure as hell ain't gonna release it to lower the price of oil. That's not how it works. They will tell you in the news they're gonna release the strategic reserves of oil just so that futures traders sell down the price of oil, and the price at the pump may eventually be cheaper. The United States cannot actually sell any of their reserves. They're not going to lie to you, right? They're going to make a big announcement saying that they will like release their strategic reserves, and they will release 2 barrels of oil, right? So technically they didn't lie, right? Like for example, if if your mom asks you, did you go outside and play with other kids and get some sunlight? You can say yes, because you went outside for 30 seconds, saw some sun, waved to your neighbor's kid, and then went back inside and started playing video games, right? Technically, you did not lie. You went outside and you played with the kid next door by waving to him for 30 seconds. You didn't lie, but that wasn't the point, right? Your mom wants you to go and actually interact with another human and get away from the television. So it's the same thing when it comes to the United States announcing that they are releasing strategic reserves. They release like a single barrel of oil so that they don't get caught in a lie. And then they drive the market down with their words, because if they're releasing strategic reserves, they're not going to buy more oil. So the price of oil needs to drop to accommodate for less demand from the United States. But I'm still bullish on the overall price of oil. The Saudis are not going to start pumping out more oil to appease the US government, and the price of oil will remain high. And it's kind of good, because now Russia can sell oil at half price or lower to places like India and China to get them on their side. Meanwhile, Europe will have to buy oil at full price. So now Europe is going to be subsidizing oil going to China and India, and the Europeans will just have to pay for it by having to buy it from Russia. Yeah, I heard Netflix got crushed. We're about to take a look at that. So the stock market is rising, which makes me believe Bitcoin will turn around in the next, 8 to 12 hours to the upside. Okay, I did a whole deep dive into Twitter in the last video, so we're not going to do that again. I believe Twitter right now is bearish. Am I going to enter a bearish position on Twitter? I would if I was a full-time trader right now. And if I wasn't flying to Brazil, if I wasn't working on a financial summit, if I wasn't going to all these conferences like the last day and a half between, I would not have been able to look at the stock. I believe Twitter right now is bearish. I believe that they will not let Elon Musk buy the company. I don't think these people care if the shareholders of Twitter sue Twitter for billions of dollars due to their mismanagement of their fiduciary duty of maximizing shareholders' equity. But I don't think neither the government nor the current Twitter majority shareholders would ever let Elon Musk buy Twitter, because Elon has stated very, very clearly he wants Twitter to be a free speech platform, and Twitter is not a free speech platform. So selling it to Elon would basically mean the firing of the majority of Twitter personnel. So they will play it in a way that we are saving people's jobs, and we can't sell it to Elon. I do not believe he will be buying Twitter. Tone, some of your statements are anti-American and at the least unpatriotic. I am perfectly okay with your opinion of that because the America that my family fled to 30 plus years ago is not the same America today. The America that I came to for freedom is not the America of today, and it is trending in a very nasty direction, and therefore I will entertain my right to free speech, which is what America is still one of the best places for. it has a good right to free speech, so I can state my opinion of America without major consequences. This is the triangle. This is the triangle I talked about last time, right? For me personally, it's a triangle of 3 reasons to live in a country: financial economic freedom, safety, which is why, I don't live in, say, well, I don't even know what dangerous country to name, right? Maybe Somalia. I mean, this is one of the reasons why I don't live in Somalia. Or, I don't know, maybe Haiti, El Salvador a few years ago before Bukele became president. So safety for yourself and your family, financial economic freedom, which involves low taxes and just ability to start a business, and social freedom, right? Social freedom is the right to free speech, the ability to say what you want, the ability to be, say, gay, lesbian, the LGBTQ and 18 other acronyms, like for that community, right? Like that community cannot live in certain places, right? It's not very comfortable for that community to live in the Middle East. It's probably not all that comfortable for that community to live in, say, Russia and other Eastern European countries that are a little more homophobic than other areas, say Western Europe. These freedoms, these liberal freedoms, I feel are getting a little bit out of hand. And by out of hand, I mean there's nothing wrong with freedoms. It's just that the media pushing of these freedoms, and it's not like it's a freedom to be gay. It's this push that you should be gay. I feel is a little bit much. So the pendulum is swinging a little bit too far. Though I have no problem with those freedoms, right? So you choose the best place to live for you. Do you have free speech in Russia? Not to the same extent as the United States, but to a bigger extent than some other countries, right? So everything is on a sliding scale. But that's what I mean. You live in a country that's best for you. For example, I personally would have no problem living in a place like Dubai. You don't have freedom to do drugs, but I don't do drugs. And there are less freedoms to be openly LGBTQ, but I am not LGBTQ. So again, me not being able to be openly gay in Dubai is a non-problem for me because I am not gay. So a place like Dubai works for me because they have a lot of financial freedom, incredibly low taxes. They don't look down on rich people. Very safe country too. So Dubai works for some, but not others. Okay, and Russia works for some, but not others. US works for some, but not others. Okay, US has a lot of freedoms to do, if you smoke weed all day long and you are LGBTQ and you want to be openly and have a stand on a street with LGBTQ signs, you can do that in America, and you can't do that in other places, right? So America is great for those. America does have some of the best free speech laws. I'm not going to get, arrested for criticizing America, and I could in, say, other places. So America is still one of the better places to live, but it's not as good as it was in the, say, early 2000s or mid 2000s. Though I will say it became a lot safer. When I moved to New York in 1990s, early 1990s, New York was dangerous as fuck. Mayor Dinkins was one of the worst mayors in New York history. That was the mayor under which I moved to New York. And as a kid growing up in New York, there's no way I would even go to Manhattan at the age of, say, 13, 14. It was too dangerous. Now you can do it, even at that age, even by yourself if you're responsible enough, So, but it's becoming more dangerous now because the pendulum is kind of swinging. The defund the police movement and many other things. Not that I like cops or anything like that, but LA is the same way. Like these places are becoming a little bit more dangerous. Chicago, So if the pendulum, if New York becomes, no, let's say New York, LA. So the Republican states are a lot safer. Though I know Houston ain't great and some of the other ones aren't. Just the recent shooting in Houston as well. Shootings in New York now. So, but rural areas of the red states, they're super safe. Well, again, they're super safe for some. I fully acknowledge the fact that there are still KKK, factions in the rural South. So you don't want to, if you are Black, you don't want to, live next door to a KKK area. It's just not safe for you. Don't move there. Can something be done about those organizations and get rid of them? Yeah, something probably could be done, but the FBI isn't interested in eliminating those groups. They're more interested in, arresting parents for complaining about what's being taught to their kids. So, or arresting anyone that stepped 1 foot on the grass near the Capitol on the 6th, right? I mean, like these things are more on even the unarmed grandmas, right? So these people are a higher priority than some of the other things that they could be doing. So you have to choose what's best for you. And I don't like the overall direction of where America's trending, but I like the direction where Florida's trending. I like the direction where Texas is trending. So my views may seem un-American to some, but the America that I came to and the America that I would like to see is what's happening in Texas and Florida and many states in between those states. While I hate the direction of where the entire west side of the country, California, Oregon, Washington, New York, Illinois, I hate the direction that those states are going. So for me personally, I am very, let's say, pro two Americas. I'm pro America splitting in two. Put all the Democrats up north and put all the Republicans south. I mean, it's a little bit polarizing, right? But if you like New York and California, that's its own country. And if you, I mean, I'm not very religious. I think that's one of the, I think the Republican Party is a little too religious, but who am I to judge? You're free to practice your own religion. So I am actually pro nonviolent split of the United States and let all of the socialists, communists, Democrats go north and let all of the capitalists, Republicans, and slightly less ultra-liberal people go south. And I think that would be better and people can live where they like, kind of like the way Czechoslovakia split. Slovakians go here, Czech people go there. Non-violent. Yugoslavia was a disaster and they eventually split. So I'm pro that. And if you think that's anti-American, that's your opinion of my view of what is America. Splitting the USA would be a disaster. It depends. It depends because by not splitting the USA, while it could be done peacefully, a full-blown violent civil war could break out. I don't see the fascist part. Yami, you mentioned having America split between socialist and fascist isn't ideal, but I don't see the other half as fascist. You see the other half as fascist, but I don't. I see the other. I see a split between socialism and capitalism. I don't see a split between socialism and fascism. Northern Cali has the same mindset as Texas. Right, but Southern Cali, actually like San Diego, is so bad and it's driving your whole state. So maybe your state should split. Maybe your state's too big. Your state is clearly not on the same page. The divide between the Democrats and Republicans is growing exponentially. Exponentially. There's always been, this conflict between Democrats and Republicans, but it's so exponential now. It's insane. And there's very, very few Democrats in politics that understand the Republican point of view, and there's very few Republicans that understand the Democrats' point of view. The divide is insane. I think splitting America into 50, well, if the federal government, stayed small, it would be significantly better. But at this point, I'd rather have no federal government. But would it be better to have 50 countries out of America? No, probably not. Would it be better to have, let's say, 8 countries out of America? Also, probably not. I think the sweet spot is 2 to 4 countries. And this is probably stuff for the political show. As to why the 3 to 4 countries is best, but because you still need the core of America to stay strong, to be a global leader in stuff, and I just don't like the current global leadership into the World Economic Forum's agenda of you own nothing and we'll be happy. All right. Hey guys, Financial Summit, an incredible event. I'm going to wrap up the show. At least I didn't talk about Eastern European politics this time. I talked about American version, which I still didn't want to do. I really want to save this stuff for Rumble, not YouTube. So check this out. It's an incredible event. We're going to release some testimonial videos from our last event. It's going to be absolutely awesome. All right. Oh, stocks. Damn, I never looked at Netflix stock because you guys got me distracted by a comment that says I am anti-American. It's your opinion. You're welcome to your opinion. I don't censor opinions. I only censor people that lie or write inappropriate comments. I will always entertain a respectful comment of a person who disagrees. Netflix. Oh boy. See, this is why I never hold a stock through earnings unless I straddled it. And if you don't know where a straddle is, you really need to look into options trading. And my on-demand videos has an options trading workshop, which I am considering giving away to anyone that registers for the Financial Summit. So that is another huge incentive to come to the Financial Summit, because I think we will cover options at the Financial Summit in the Dominican Republic. So you will get this video for free by attending the Financial Summit in the Dominican Republic. Canceling people who are disrespectful. Well, I cancel them because I don't want to hear them, right? I'm not canceling them from other people. I am canceling them from my own feeds. So I block people that are disrespectful, and I remove them from my life. I'm not removing them from, I don't run a social media platform. I am not a media institution. So I have the right to block people from me seeing them. That's perfectly fine. and I'm not like canceling their internet subscription. Where can you find me on Rumble? At the moment, nowhere, but eventually videos will come out on Rumble. I just wish Rumble did two things. So I have my Rumble account, and my two favorite videos on Rumble so far this year were A Killing of the Mind by Academy of Ideas, published by After School, and the COVID-19 A Second Opinion Senate hearing by Senator Ron Johnson, which has catapulted to my 5 favorite politicians in America, Senator Ron Johnson. Hope he runs for president. So these are my favorite Rumble videos. I do have a Rumble account, the Tone Vays Rumble account, but I've not posted any videos on it. And there are 2 things that I really hate about Rumble, maybe 3. One of them is I can't seem to download these videos like I do with YouTube. The second one is there is no history of video. So let's say someone sends me a video that I want to watch, and it's like this one, 5 hours long. So I kind of start watching the video, and then I'm like, you know what? I'm going to watch it tomorrow or the next day. With YouTube, I can just go into my history of the videos I have seen, and it tells me which videos I watched yesterday, which videos I watched the day before, which videos I watched last week. Rumble doesn't have that. So if I start watching a video, and then I stop watching that video, it doesn't tell me what I've partially watched or when I watched it. And it also doesn't keep the timestamp. So if I watched halfway through this video and then I got distracted by something and I go back to this video a day or 2 later, it starts back at 0 and I don't know where I ended. That is another very frustrating thing with Rumble. Very frustrating thing. And it doesn't integrate with like the cell phones very well. Like there are so many things I hate about the Rumble platform, but it's use of platform versus free speech, and free speech is more important than the use of the platform. Do I think the Consensio method should be reapplied to the weekly chart? I don't. Like the historical use of the Consensio method on a 4-day chart is just so much better. I know that it's been a freaking disaster in 2022, but I think it's gonna, help reverse itself in due time. I still think the weekly chart is just too slow to react. And when Bitcoin finally picks a direction and starts moving in that direction quickly, you can miss out a lot by waiting for the weekly chart. I'm going to stick to the 4-day chart and the logic that was used to start using the 4-day chart to begin with. Can I tell you more of my plans for sites like Mexico? Plan to stay there for a year to check it out. So I am now, okay, let me look at, guys, I would love to talk. So I am looking into off-grid living. So I have contacts in Mexico where a Bitcoin citadel is being built out, large area, 1,000 acres, huge area. It can probably have, it'll have a hotel, it'll have a conference center, it'll probably have about up to 200, 250 villas, apartments for people to live in. Probably not more than 250 people, even though technically you can stop thousands of families there, but we don't want that. We want there to be, freedom, and we got to have enough land for cattle and chickens and like grow our own food. So I'm working on one of those in Mexico. More info on that later this year. I'm also looking at Panama, connected with really good people in Panama, and hopefully we can buy a piece of land, a large piece of land in Panama, maybe even an island. I don't have much money, but I can help in other ways. I mean, if I decide to move to an island that gets money raised for, and I can help raise some money to buy an island, and we can start building out the island, that'd be great. And I know if I'm living there on this island half the year, a lot of people might be interested. So Panama and Mexico are very interesting. Eventually, El Salvador And we'll see. I'm going to Brazil now. Brazil is a very large country. Let's see which direction it's going to. Brazil is very tricky to me. On the one hand, I kind of liked how Brazil handled COVID at first, but then eventually, you know, they also turned. I'm kind of hearing really good things about Brazil, but I don't like the fact that the president is kind of another one of Klaus Schwab's minions. Real minion, not pretend minion like he claimed Putin was a Klaus Schwab minion. Putin is not a Klaus Schwab minion, but the president of Mexico and Brazil are on the border of being on board with Klaus Schwab, and I don't like that. I could be wrong about, you know, the senior membership of Mexico. You know, for me, a lot of it is going to depend on how on board are you with the World Economic Forum and Klaus Schwab. The more politicians in your country are supporters of the World Economic Forum, Davos, and Klaus Schwab, the less I am interested in the future of your country. And this creates yet another dilemma. Not that I am in any way interested in moving to Russia. However, I know that Putin and the Russian politicians are not on board at all with the World Economic Forum and Klaus Schwab's agenda. They are anti that agenda. And I wish I can find the perfect country that is anti-Klaus Schwab's agenda and is able to prevent you know, Western democracy from destroying their country, like the United States did in Libya and Syria and Iraq, and sanctioning Iran. So it's a very tricky situation. It's a very, like, there is no perfect place. If there was a perfect place, I'd be there. There is no perfect place. But I am looking for a place that is anti or not on board with World Economic Forum, while at the same time not strong enough to withstand a World Economic Forum overthrow of their country. India. Yeah, I can't see myself living in India. I'm sorry, guys. I just can't. I mean, I've been to India. I've been only to the north of India. I would love to visit more India. I just can't see myself making a life in India. Latin America is probably way more likely. Madagascar is, I've never been there. I have no comment. Like I said, like Mexico, Brazil, Panama, these are pretty stable countries. They're also large countries. They have pretty good economies. They just have to find a way to not be on board with World Economic Forum, while at the same time, not be subject to Western control and influence. Portugal. Look, I've never been to Portugal. I would love to go to Portugal and visit. I hear great things about Portugal. The problem with Portugal, even if Portugal is great, even if Portugal is amazing, the problem with Portugal is the same problem that I have with New Hampshire in America. You are surrounded by communism. That is my problem with Portugal. This is when my friends from New Hampshire, and I know Motorist is probably in the chat, and I make fun of Motorist all the time because Bitcoin Motorist lives in New Hampshire, the Free State Project. I go there for Pork Fest. They're huge libertarians there. I still don't know why their senators and congressmen are all Democrats. I don't get it, but they're very libertarian, have the lowest taxes, very good gun rights. Like, it's great. It's really a bastion of freedom, surrounded by communism on all sides, from Canada to New York to Massachusetts, even Maine has very like socialist tendencies. Canada's the worst. Vermont is kind of on the border, definitely leans socialist. Like, your little bastion of freedom is surrounded on all sides by communism. So and it's cold as hell. So I'm sorry, I'm not moving to New Hampshire. And Portugal, I feel the same way about Portugal as I feel about New Hampshire. It's kind of great, but I don't have a promising future for Portugal on a long time scale. But I've never been there, so it's hard for me to judge. So, Paul, I'm not really an American. I am a former immigrant, refugee from a Soviet communist country. So I have some idea of what a real communist is. And Massachusetts is right up there with New York and California. You can tell by how they handled the COVID restrictions and mandates. Panama is good. I like Panama. But their next election is going to be very interesting, their next presidential election. Also, the fact that Portugal speaks Portuguese is not comforting. I would rather have a country that speaks a language that the rest of the world speaks. I am not a fan of 100 languages around the world, the way I'm not a fan of 1,000 cryptocurrencies around the world. To me, there should only be 6 languages. That's it. Done. It would make the world a better place. And I know you're going to yell at me that how stupid that view is, and what about culture, and what about all this insanity, right? In reality, in the real world, if the only language you speak is, say, Georgian, or I don't know, Swahili, or I don't know, whatever, right? And you barely speak English, like if you're in the Philippines and you only speak Tagalog, I mean, how much? What are your life prospects outside of the Philippines? Though in the Philippines they almost all speak English, but for example, in Latin America, you don't need to speak English. In South Florida, you may not even need to speak English. But like, how useful is Italian really outside of Italy or Switzerland or a few other regions? I just don't see it as useful. So to me, the world should have like 6 languages, but I'm not going to rule the world and force everyone to only speak 6 languages. Just my opinion. My opinion should be 6 languages. Everybody speaks English and French here in Portugal. Well, right. And you also should speak Spanish, right? Because I don't understand why you speak French. You're next to Spain, so you should speak French. I know Portuguese is similar. And I mean, it's great for your mind to speak multiple languages, but you still can't. But the world would be a much more efficient place. Language centralization. Centralization isn't always bad. I don't understand why you think that centralization is bad. It's not bad. Centralization can be very efficient. You know, I'm already traveling the world with 8 different plug adapters. Why can't there be just one? Why can't we centralize the electric grid? Why can't every single country in the world have the same exact wall outlet? Why is that? Why is centralization of wall outlets such a horrible thing? You know, or let's decentralize wall outlets. Let's have a completely different wall outlet in every state in America. So if you cross the border from, say, I don't know, New York to New Jersey, or New York to Pennsylvania, or Pennsylvania to New Jersey, you have a completely different wall outlet. So you have an entire bag of 20 different wall outlets, because decentralization of wall outlets is so important and critical to avoid centralization. Creating a new language doesn't work. All it does is create another language. So in my opinion, the world becomes a better place if the only languages people speak are English, Spanish, Chinese. I know there's two, Cantonese and Mandarin. Mandarin's more widely spread, so it has to be Mandarin. I know Hong Kong is Cantonese. So we'll say Mandarin, English, and I'm doing this in order, by the way. English, Spanish, Mandarin, Arabic, and Russian. I used to have Russian ahead of Arabic, but after the breakup of the Soviet Union and all of the former Soviet Union countries have adapting their own language, and in the case of Ukraine, banning the Russian language, it lessens the Russian language from being as useful, and it moved Arabic above it. That is my view on languages, and I really don't see a need for any other languages. I don't. It's my opinion. You can disagree with it, okay? But those are my top 6 or 5. What was it? Huh? English, Spanish, Mandarin, Arabic, Russian. That's it. 5 languages. If you force me to pick a 6th language, it will be hard. Maybe French. Maybe French. Only because they colonized too many places, and like Haiti speaks French, and I'm assuming French Guyana in South America speaks French. So French would be like the, I know they think they're the most important language, but I'm sorry, guys. I would put you right outside my my cutoff line. That's it. That's the list. Sorry for your loss if your culture, is hurt by my statements. I mean, Hindi is kind of important in India, but they all speak English. Well, most of them speak English. I guess we can put Hindi right there with French at the next tier of cutoffs. So what do you do now with Netflix earnings? Well, Russian is slowly coming off the list. A lot of people speak Russian, a lot, but less so every single year. Because when the Soviet Union existed and 15 countries spoke fluent Russian, that's a lot of people. A lot of people. Russia still has 160 million people that speak Russian. And most Ukrainians speak Russian. I would say 85% of Ukrainians speak Russian. All the Belarusians speak Russian. And most people in Kazakhstan speak Russian. Uzbekistan. There's a huge global population that speaks Russian. Hindi is the 3rd most spoken language in the world. I agree. But remember, people that speak Hindi speak English. Most of them. I would say 80% of the people that speak Hindi speak English. That's not true for Russian. Russian language is moving down the list. Hindi will probably move up as India, people from India spread. It's not only the amount of people. It's not only the amount of people that speak it, right? The amount of people that speak Hindi isn't all that relevant if they only speak it in the country of India. Russian is spoken in many places around the world. And a lot of people only speak Russian. So on my list, let's just put it this way. Russian has been a hell of a lot more important in my life, traveling the world the last 20 years than Hindi was, right? If I knew Hindi as a kid, if my parents taught me Hindi instead of teaching me Russian, I probably would not know Hindi right now because I would almost never interact in Hindi as I travel the world. When I go to Georgia, when I used to go to Ukraine, when I meet people from Kazakhstan, when I meet people from all these countries, I interact with them in Russian. And I've been to India, and it's in my life. I can't even remember the amount of time where Hindi would have helped me. Knowing Hindi would have helped me, but knowing Russian has helped me a lot in my 10-year career of travel. Spanish would have probably helped the most. So right now, because of this giant fall in earnings and the little rebound it's having in Netflix, I think it can rebound back a little bit. Yeah, I know, but like Macau and Brazil is not enough to put Portuguese that high up the ladder. And remember, if you know Portuguese, you're more than halfway to Spanish. All right, guys, I'm done. Take a peek at Bitcoin one more time. It looks like it's rebounding as I expected to rebound, and we're gonna call it a day here. All right, guys, thank you all for watching, and see you all on the next one. Bye, guys. I'm wearing